All right, we're back. Jim pulled me out of the dungeon, and we're back. So we're gonna bring you guys a little special episode. We're probably gonna sit here and do a couple of them. They might be pretty short, but we're just gonna bring you some updates and kind of talk about what's been going on, both in my life and just in general. So welcome back, bro, to the First Gen Wealth Podcast.
Season whatever, episode whatever. We don't even
Who
keep
cares?
track of that anymore.
Yeah, who cares? Just us talking,
Yep.
man. Just us talking. So yeah, we posted the last time we dropped an episode. It's been a couple months. I basically said I had some health issues to deal with, and that was going to be the last one for a while. So I've been dealing with that stuff, and we've got a plan. I've got to take some time and get some things right in my body and mind. And so we're working that. It's going to be a summer of love and a spring of love and health and wealth. And that's what's going on. So we're going to take care of our bodies. I would encourage you guys to do the same. I've had some stuff in my life that I just got to deal with.
This reminds me, we had an episode that I was talking about all of the toxicity in food, and you were like, I just blue pill mentality. Like, I don't want to think about it. I've never had that aha moment. So you've had that aha moment.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We got aha is a light way of putting it, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, holy cow. And, part of what I've been doing for my health is a whole plant food-based diet, no processed foods, no sugars. You start getting into that rabbit hole, holy cow. So I'm not eating any meat, any sugar. It's an interesting diet.
Yeah.
So
and you've never been like a veggie guy. So
no, and I hate broccoli, and I've eaten more broccoli in the last week than I've eaten my entire life. I promise you that. I mean, I've eaten more broccoli yesterday than I've eaten my entire life. So yeah, but it's funny, when you've got something that is messing with your body, you just do what you got to do.
yeah.
And when you start reading some of the things that are in our foods, like you said, I blue pill. Like, I'm like, give me the Twinkie, give me the only time I ever really cared about my diet is when we did the 75 hard thing. And then it was just like no pizza, no fast food. I kept it pretty lean. I didn't do any sugar or anything like that, like cupcakes or stuff, but I wasn't like intense in that diet. I was just eating healthier than I was. Now it's like, holy crap, like this, there are so many things in our foods that people don't know about that are okay. Based on the FDA, it's wild. There's so many things we should not be eating. And then once you learn this, me with my kids, it's like, holy crap, wow, they shouldn't be eating this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that's a hard thing. Like, wow, now that I know, I've swallowed the red pill.
Yeah.
I've been awakened.
So how's that been with them? Have you started to say, like, I know Max loves Oreos.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Like,
so
like things like that, where it's like, well, why do I have to give up what I'm not really impacted. Like, how's that go?
I know. I don't know yet. So we haven't pulled the rug out from underneath him on his diet yet. He is, just de facto, he's eating a little healthier because there's healthier food in the house. But no, he still gets his Oreos, at the moment. So this is pretty new, so we're still just trying to figure it out for us.
Yeah.
Molly's, my wife is doing the same diet as me. But we have not forced it on the kids just yet. Just because we're still trying to get our heads around.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good point. Like, they're eating slightly better because that's what you're eating now. And I think it's just natural where, like, kids do what their parents do. So
yeah,
if you're working out, they're going to work out. You're eating healthy, they're going to grow up eating healthier. Kids are going to eat their sugars and have that stuff, regardless of how well you do as a parent. It's at school, it's at their friend's house. So you can't stop it, but you can make those small steps and help improve their lives based on that. So
It's all about the small steps, and then, yeah. And then really getting after it, like putting all those small steps together now, for me. You were talking about a small step you did too, weren't you, bro?
Well, yeah. So on March 14th, I emailed you and said, I've given up coffee.
Yeah. And you were putting every dollar that you would have spent on coffee, you were going to buy
coffee stocks.
Stock.
And it for me, it wasn't like it's not a money thing. It kind of is a money thing. I love going to Foster Coffee, but for me, it's more social. I love going in there and seeing people. The baristas are awesome. And when it's cold and or rainy, like that's my thing. I love to just go in there and sit for a minute. So, but I'm spending like $6.50, and I'm not just drinking a black coffee. I get my latte, and once you tip and everything, it was $6.50 a day. So I'm thinking, I'm like, geez, oh Pete's, man, that's a lot of money. It just adds up. And you always hear like, yeah, the millennials or the gens, whatever they are, the gen whatevers. I'm poor because I'm drinking my Starbucks. Well, you start doing the math, and it's a big deal. So. And I only do this 5 days a week. I give, if Jill and I want to have coffee on the weekend or whatever, we still do that. But so Monday through Friday, every day I don't drink coffee or my latte, I buy $5 worth of coffee stock. So I think I'm up to like $140 worth of coffee stock so far. So it's not like,
that's awesome.
It's not crazy, but you start doing the math on that's $1,300 a year.
Yep.
5 days a week. 20 years, that's $65,000
without any interest.
That's 60, assuming you're getting 8% interest,
okay.
Reinvesting your dividends,
Gotcha.
Whatever. So 20 years just by cutting out your $6.50 daily trip to the coffee shop, it's $65,000. So those small things add up. And we talk about that all the time, whether, that first small step into getting into real estate, that first small step into whether it's your health, that first thing you do compounds. And before you know it, like that's a big deal. So I think like, okay, well, I'm starting doing that now. We've got other investments. I'm not just relying on giving up coffee to make, to retire on, but that is a large sum of money just by making that one small step.
For sure. So yeah. And some of our other investments, obviously the big one, for me and a good sized one for you is real estate. And one of the things with this health situation and what we've kind of got to deal with over the next few months is the illiquidity of real estate. So, we've been very diligent, buying properties over the past really 15 years. There's some that have really giant sums of equity based on our hard work and sweat equity that we've put into them. There's a lot of money there. It's on paper.
Yep.
Right. So, when you get into an emergency situation, trying to pull that money out can be a challenge. So, I think looking back, I probably wished I would have focused a little bit more on having some liquidity and keeping a standard of liquidity. Now we have some, like I'm not in dire straits or anything like that, but if you do get into some situation where the only money you have is tapping into equity, that can take some time.
It can take some time, or there's market timing too. What if you're in a down cycle with where property values are, or right now we're seeing higher interest rates than what we have, so it doesn't necessarily make sense to borrow against it.
Correct.
In some cases. So yeah, that's a big disadvantage of owning real estate is the illiquidity piece of it. And like sometimes when you need to sell, it's the worst time to sell.
Correct.
I don't think we're in that market.
Oh no.
So selling real estate for the most part right now is still it's good timing wise, but I think when you say having that standard of liquidity, maybe it's, a percentage of all my real estate, I should have X percent of money in cash or, equities or whatever, where it's easily accessed. In the past, you've said, but this is my forced savings account, because if I have the money, I'm going to spend it. I'm going to buy the 4-wheelers, or I'm going to buy this, or, upgrade the house. So how do you balance
so for I can answer your question. So for our household, I'm lucky enough to have a spouse that doesn't have that retail therapy need like I do. She's a saver. She's not a spender. So she's got accounts that I can't touch. And so over the years, I've given her sums of money that I don't know where they go, but I know they're not going anywhere. Right. So, we lived on the Dave Ramsey thing. So we had we've always had our 6-month emergency fund, and we built that up to a year. And what that is just, if the income stops, you want to have a year of cash flow saved away, to survive,
to pay for the mortgage, the cars, the groceries. You've got everything where you can literally stop working today.
Correct. If another nickel comes in, you're covered for a year. So that I would have never been able to do that. That's not something that you put money in a bank account for me. I'm looking for a property. So we give it to Molly and now it's safe for that purpose. But I would have liked to have had, looking back, I would have liked to probably have done it a little bit differently as far as our reserve accounts for some of the properties and things of that nature. But it's not like, again, if they've got equity, you're going to be able to get it. It's just timing. And there's ways to, borrow against that temporarily through mezzanine or bridge financing if you want. And again, we're not doing any of that.
So I've heard mezzanine like a million times in the last month, and I'm like, okay, whatever. What is that?
Short-term financing over. So, it's a quick way to get dollars on an asset when you have a plan to put permanent debt on it.
Okay,
so you'll see it a lot.
It's a bridge loan, but it's a different type of bridge loan.
Yeah, right? it is, but it's usually higher interest. You'll see it a lot with deals that maybe need to get closed quickly or have a construction element to them, because the banks don't typically like construction things. So you can do a short-term gap finance.
And when you say banks don't like construction, it's more like they don't like in-process construction. So they'll finance, if you bring them the plan initially and say, I need a construction loan, and there's a plan, that's one thing. Or when it's done,
they have a hard time. They have a hard time trusting the plan. So, it's hard. Like, we've done it multiple times around town where we had a plan, but it's like trying to get the bank to get their head around what we're trying to do. It's just, it's not worth the rub, and they don't necessarily they won't lend you. They want you to have a pretty significant amount of skin in the game. So it's like, you could either use the money and do the construction yourself, or you're putting the down payment, and it's like a shell game with the money with the banks. Whereas you go out and get mezzanine, you could potentially just get the whole amount.
Pay them a higher rate.
You're
less out of pocket.
Way less out of pocket. If in some cases we've managed to do no money out of pocket, and then the project's done, completed. You've got a tenant now in operation, and the bank comes in with the appraiser, and they go, "Oh, this is very nice. Here's your money." So, that's what that is, and that can be worked in reverse. Like I was saying, if you've got some equity, there are methods of pulling dollars out as long as the asset's strong enough to pull some of your equity out on a shorter term basis with a little bit of a higher interest rate. But typically it's asset supported. So it's something maybe you've owned for a long time that maybe you only have, a loan to value of 40 or 50, and you can take it up to 70 or 65 or something like that and just pull some money off the top, and the asset's still going to support that. But for me, when I guess right now my mindset, and it might change, you know what I mean? But I've been at this a long time, bro. Like I've been selling real estate for 24 years. And I've been doing, running on building a real estate empire really hard for the last 15 years, strictly focused on commercial real estate. And that, I guess that's been about 20 years now. So geez, Pete. So anyway, you know, and we've had episode after episode after episode about never met a goal I didn't meet or whatever, you know what I mean, that I've met because the goal keeps shifting. And that's been the case for me. Like we get to a certain asset level and it's like, all right, let's go to here, you know, and I've been, you know, in my back of my mind, it's like, I'd love to build this up to $100 million and let the kids go to $1 billion or the grandkids go to $1 billion. You know, how cool would that be? I don't even know if they want to do that. You know what I mean? So when this health situation kind of came to the forefront, it really changed my mind on what I want to do. So, you know, we're scaling back. We are putting some stuff on the market for sale slowly. We're in no rush because that's a whole nother problem, right? You don't want to rush things, but I'm feeling like I'm pretty well done building. I don't want to run the race anymore. I'm happy to, you know, help others and consult with somebody else. We've got a whole team here that's helping me, you know, do what I want to do. And that's a lot of different things, a lot of different asset classes and a lot of different markets.
So when you say you don't want to build, you don't want to build your real estate portfolio, but you're still talking about building. You're building people. You've got your team of people.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So you're just building something different now.
Yeah.
So the idea, and I get that because with real estate, headaches come with it. Like you've got tenants to manage, you've got bills to pay, you've got maintenance. There's all sorts of things that come with real estate that can be stressful. And the more, you know, the more money, more problems, you know?
Well, it's really the asset classes that we've kind of looked at in our downtown where they're long plays. They require staying power and some holding power, which means what I'm saying is they're in the red. They lose money on a monthly basis. And so those, you know. Yeah.
And we've talked about that before. We've taken on those projects because this is our community. We care about the community. And we're okay with putting money into those, waiting for the right thing to come to be a benefit for the community. Well, what you're saying is that's no longer like a thing because it sucks. Like, I'm not saying it sucks as in like, it like literally sucks the money out of everything else that you've got going on.
Sucks your money, sucks your attention, and it sucks your time, which is fine when you want to do that, right? Like, this building we're in right now is a prime example of a full success story on that, from top to bottom, outside, inside, everywhere in between. This building is a success story, but it takes time. And you know that I don't want to be involved with those anymore. That doesn't mean they're bad. It's just where I'm at. And there's plenty of people that will hopefully step up and they're, you know, want to see their community grow and take advantage of the grants like we have, that are willing to, you know, to hang in there and turn a building around and make it a Class A property. I mean, the Armory is a prime example of something that's, you know, took advantage of the grant processes that are out there and took an old piece of crap building and is now a beautiful staple in our downtown. The Wesner, there's several.
There's several. Yeah.
There's several. And
there's several buildings right now that could be that next success story. Some of them we own. And that's where, like we've talked about in the past, like we've got a couple buildings for sale. If, you know, people have a better plan than we do, you know, even before this health scare, it's like we are willing to sell. It's because it does take so much time, and we have so many of those little projects that we're working on. Like we can only put so much time and effort into, you know, a building at a time.
Yep. And it takes time and effort. And right now my time and my effort needs to be spent on my health, plain and simple. So we've actually we've met with a couple people that are interested in doing that, which is terrific. They're local individuals, business owners of different sorts. We'll see.
All younger than us.
All younger than us.
It reminds me when in 2013, we had our Young Guns meeting.
Yes.
And so that was when I was
11 years ago.
So that's when you and I and a few others in our 30s, early 30s, were thinking, okay, like it's time for Owasso to take this next step. We see all these old people sitting on their properties, not doing anything. We are energetic. We have the means. We can do this. And we started out with the Foster Coffee Building. So what you're really saying is now we're just the old people that.
Yeah, we're the old people. We're the old people. We need some new young guns. There was actually a couple spinoffs that happened out of that. Remember Jeremy Ackles had done some stuff. Mike Airforth did some stuff on his own. And of course, like you said, our group with Scott Idle and Brian Alpert, we did some stuff. And then you and I have just, done plenty of stuff. So we need that group of 30 somethings to come in and take the bull by the horns. We're getting old and tired, man. You know.
Well, I think I still got a little bit of energy left.
Yeah, I do too, and I got energy left, and we're gonna see, a couple of these things.
Fifth Third will be a
Fifth Third project. We'll see that one through. But I don't want to go through that again, quite frankly, at this moment in time. And again, like I said, that might change.
So where you're at right now, what type of real estate would appeal to you? Like if there's something like, oh my gosh, this just came on the market, like I'm changing my strategy again, we have to move into this. Like, what?
Yeah, in this moment in time, there isn't anything. I'm more about, I'm looking to capture my hard work over the past decades. I want to have that just setting aside. I want to get real, cash. I want to get cash rich.
Yeah. Which
has never been a situation I've been in. And then from that point, when the dust settles, it's grade A, class A, investment grade property. Like the Starbucks I built, probably would have held on to that. That's just, we call that mailbox money. It's a corporate lease. The money just shows up it's not even in your mailbox.
And they take care of all the maintenance and expenses.
They take care of all the maintenance. They take care of everything. And the money just shows up in your checking account on the first every month. It's called a triple net, single tenant, triple net lease. Those are the ones I'd probably be focusing on. So like a Dollar General, Starbucks, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, those type of investments.
We've talked a little bit about like a lot of those places don't own their real estate.
None of them do. Nothing I named does.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Well, I think McDonald's, but there are a lot of land leases out there that you can buy. They're really like low cap rates, like 4.5%.
Which means your return on it isn't that great.
It's 4.5% year one. That's how that's.
But it's mailbox money.
It's mailbox money, and and there's probably better places to put your money than McDonald's. But you look at like a Dollar General, that's like 7.5% return.
And you still get to take, like, they're paying for all the expenses, but you're still taking tax benefits of owning that real estate.
You get the depreciation. You get the depreciation, and you own the real estate at the end of the day. So with those, like I've got clients that are looking at Dollar Generals all the time, and it's like my advice is always like, don't buy one that's not sitting somewhere that something else can go. Because obviously, Dollar General, they're everywhere, and it's in the middle of a cornfield somewhere in some cases. Well, what you got to think about is after that 15-year lease is up, if they don't renew, what else are you going to do with that real estate? A lot of times it's worth,
or 10 years down or whenever Dollar General goes bankrupt. I mean,
could happen.
There is that possibility. It's unlikely for Dollar General at this time based on the revenue, but yeah, that's a possibility too. So you're right. I think, some of the locations around here, like, Bancroft, like, what are you going to do with that if they decide to move out?
Because you're going to spend probably $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, upwards of $1.5 million for that asset. And if they're not in it, it's worth about $250,000, $300,000. That real estate. That's
a kick.
Yeah. So again, you just got to look at the whole package. Like if that becomes a free asset after 15 years because Dollar General's paid for everything, and you've made money the whole way through. What's so wrong with having a $400,000 piece of property sitting there that didn't cost you anything at the end of the day? So, it's just different things for different people. But right now I want to kind of turn the corner, Jim, and get get some of my equity turned into liquidity, look at it for a while, and probably put some into some long-term annuity stuff. I'm just shifting gears, but those real estate deals that are the golden nuggets are always going to be something I would be interested in. So
what percentage of your real estate are you looking to potentially over the next year start to
2 years? So probably, looking at it, I've got 41 properties. I think that's the right number. 41 properties. I think at the end of the day, we're going to hold on to 5.
Wow, that's a pretty big shift.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big shift.
Yeah. That's wrong too.
So it's got to be wrong because you and I own 5 together.
It's probably 9.
We really haven't talked about selling any of ours.
Yeah,
except, 2 we have.
I guess when I say 5, I'm thinking of 5 that I own without any other partners.
Yeah.
So then
you're
there's
involved.
5 plus another 3 plus another 4, so 8, 12. Yeah, a dozen out of the 41.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. You're like, what? No. So
yeah, we got to talk offline here about some of this.
At the end of the day, over the next 2 years, it's 29, 20, 25, a couple dozen properties that are gonna be available. So and most of them are cash producing.
Yeah. So it's interesting because what I'm hearing is, because we've spent, I don't know, 50 episodes talking about how great real estate is and how, we still believe that. So don't mistake Randy's tone for like, it's not a good idea. Because what I'm hearing is what real estate now has allowed you to do.
Yeah. Fully. Like this don't read that wrong.
Build. And 100%. Now you have the option as life changes, as your goals change, your situation changes. Now you have the option to kind of change your strategy and focus on, for you now, maybe a dozen properties that are like really good cash flowing, lots of equity, whatever your strategy is going to be. So all of this building has now allowed you the opportunity to do this, which is cool. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say an exit plan, but it's kind of like I've done all of this and now I'm reaping all the benefits of my hard work over the last 20 years.
Yep. That's exactly right. And a lot of the assets that have equity in them, didn't take a lot of money to do, right? So I wouldn't have that $150,000 or that $500,000 in equity or that $1.5 million in equity sitting there at my fingertips if it wasn't for real estate. One of my greatest assets as far as equity goes, I purchased with no money down, just the way we structured it. I got some partners involved. Worked out. So, there's no better path to wealth. Right. And the fact that I have the ability to I would say methodically, dispose. So I'm in a disposition mode. I'm starting to sell some stuff. So I'm going to methodically sell off some stuff. And I have the ability to potentially put, $5 million or something or $6 million in the bank. It's pretty awesome.
Well, not you, Molly.
Well, yes. Yeah. If you were listening earlier, yeah, that money will go to my wife so I don't spend it on something else. Yes, absolutely. But yeah, that's awesome. Right. Cause I haven't made that much cash. So I wouldn't have that if I was just taking in my efforts, right. And getting an hourly wage and putting that money into a mutual fund for the last 15 years or 10 years, whatever it's been, I would not have $5 million. Whereas in real estate, with the ability to improve an asset by, just all the above, leasing it up, changing the management, improving the looks, just all of those things that are, blood, sweat, and tears, and allowing the asset to kind of pay for a lot of that stuff has built equity.
Well, and with real estate, you eliminate, or not eliminate, but you can't eliminate it. You reduce one of an average person's biggest expense, which is taxes.
Yeah.
So that's, one of the strategies we've always talked about too, where you are paying much less in taxes by owning real estate than by that hourly wage.
Yeah. Our depreciation last year actually covered the cost of our income. So we didn't pay
federal income taxes.
Yep.
Is that the first time that's ever happened? Where you didn't pay any federal income taxes?
I think so. Yeah. I've been close a couple of times, but yeah. Now there were some expenses that were out there as well, but yeah, we that was pretty cool. Filing
yeah.
taxes.
Well, we put in a lot of expenses. I don't know about your other 30 whatever properties, but the 5 that we own together.
Yeah.
Hey, another cool project, Sakura, the Thai.
You posted
hibachi
that.
and sushi is like, it's coming. I mean, within the next 60 days, we should be sitting around the table having some sushi.
That's wonderful. I won't eat sushi, but
whatever you might be able to eat there.
Water. So I'm gonna let's put a bow on it real quick. I'll just say this. We didn't dive into it as far as I think we did, but I think I wanted to, but my health is my top priority right now, so that's going to be my focus. You may see more episodes with Jim and a guest, and I may not be on those episodes, but I'm going to be fighting in the background for my clients, for my team, and for my health. And that's where my life's at right now, and that's where I've got to focus, family and health. Period. So with that, I just want to say real estate is the way, folks, and because of real estate, I have a lot of options, and I am 100% grateful to the real estate industry for those options at this moment in my life. And we'll do another episode, so tune in next time. Don't know what the topic's going to be.
Don't know who's going to be here.
But it's going to be awesome. See ya.